since your divorce. You have 50% custody, right?
Yeah. I mean, nothing. I mean, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
It's so much better. You know what I mean? Like it's my relationship with my kids is so much better. Like I'm happier. I'm living, the best life ever. Like I mean, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for a heartbeat.
It's a great way to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. It's absolutely great.
How many daughters do you have?
I have two.
Two. I have 6.
6 daughters?
Yeah, man.
He just kept trying to get a boy, and it never happened.
That's what they say. But dude, I would never trade.
Yeah.
Trade. You know that. I mean, like, you're never going to trade. It's like, sure, it'd be awesome to have a boy, but it's like, I wouldn't want one or the other. It's like, I'd rather just have what I have, And they're
I'll be honest.
awesome.
I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't. You couldn't pay me to have a boy. No.
Because you've been one before.
Exactly. No, you couldn't. You couldn't pay me to have a boy.
Yeah. So, the girls are awesome, dude. They can teach you so much, man. So they teach you patience. They teach you understanding and love. And then, dude, like, I know for sure when I'm old, I'll be taken care of, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, well, you hope they do.
They will. They will. They love their dad. I don't know if they'll hear. I don't know if they'll hear this podcast, but they love their dad. So
that's awesome. Yeah, well, that's good then. Like as long as it stays that way.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So, what has been the hardest phase of your life so far? Like, was it when you were in the Marines, or when you got out, or what was the hardest?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think it's all hard. But it's about what's next.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about what's next. I mean, it's about what's next. And that's it, right? Like, I mean, I can go through a lot of things, and it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know what is the hardest. I mean, the divorce was hard, right? They all have their own.
Yeah, they're all hard. I see what. Yeah, your point.
Yeah, they're all hard.
So how about So let's switch the question. So instead of what was the hardest, how about what taught you the most?
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Like I said, they all man, they all teach. Yeah, I mean, it is like, you can't compare combat to divorce, right?
Sure.
You can't compare, struggling with PTSD to anything, right? But I think they all have their own. Imagine a mountain. Imagine we're like a mountain, right? And every time a storm comes in, it weathers that mountain just a little bit.
Right.
And whatever sediment runs off that mountain probably needed to go anyway.
Right.
It's kind of what every challenge in our life does to us.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
So you can obviously tell that Dakota goes to speak to people because he's really well spoken. And so how do you want to make other people feel?
I just want to remind people of how great they are and how much they matter.
Mm-hmm.
That's the two things, right? Like they, I think the world just, people have felt like that they've lost control to even think for themselves. They've lost hope that they have any control in anything in life.
Yeah.
Right?
Right now they really don't.
Well, I mean, but they do. Like they have as much control as they want, right? Like they have all the control that they want, and it's like, for me, I want to remind them of just how great they are, right? Like of how great they are, and that that they matter.
So that could be on your eulogy. That here lies Dakota Meyer, and he wanted to make the world a better place.
Man, I wanted to say that he changed the world.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
it.
Yep. That's perfect.
I like it.
That's it. I just want to change the world.
And like I said, from my perspective, you're doing just that.
I appreciate it, man. That's what it's about.
So how are you giving back? Like, I know you work for hiring our heroes. And so what do you do with them? And is that how you're giving back, or well, there's multiple different ways, like being a firefighter and stuff like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just trying to do whatever I can, man. I'm just trying to wake up and be what someone needs me to be when they need me to be it. You know, like that's it, right? Like I don't ever want to not be able to. I don't want to take a day for granted. I don't ever want to leave anything on the table on any day that I'm presented, right? I mean, think about this. Every day that you wake up and you get to open your eyes, get out of bed, like you get to do this. You're provided the opportunity to live another day.
Right.
Like think about that. Like, I mean, how cool is that?
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
And you get to do it in the freest country on the planet.
Right.
Yeah. We're truly blessed to be living in this country, and
people that don't recognize that.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. It's been lately, and with the COVID and all that bullshit. Still, I believe in America.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not?
Yeah.
How do you not? Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know, America's the greatest country that ever existed. You know, it was built on this idea of you know,
freedom, yeah,
idea
choice
of democracy.
Yeah,
right. It was an experiment.
I heard the other day that America is the only country that doesn't put their allegiance in a single person. They swear, or they put their allegiance in a document.
Yeah, I mean, so think about this. We're the only country in the world that everyone swears an allegiance to a constitution, to a piece of paper.
Right.
Not somebody, not anything else.
Yeah, not a higher power or anything. You swear to that agreement.
Yeah.
I like what you said. It's believing in the idea, right? The idea, if people have problems with the people, like certain people that have been in power, and yeah, dude, they've all done horrible things, horrific things, but the idea still stands true. What we're founded on, that idea, is what makes America great and strengthens us. That idea doesn't exist in a lot of other places. And then all they have is just to lean on those people that are in power.
I mean, look at China right now.
Oh, dude.
Look, go over there and protest and watch what happens.
Dude, well, and the thing is I feel like so many of these young people take what we have, they don't really realize that they're going to give all that stuff away, and then we'll end up like China.
Yep.
And yeah.
And that's not where I want to be, and I hope enough Americans think like that.
There is. Dude, there's a silent majority, regardless of what you see on all the media, there's a silent majority that really still believe in the Constitution.
Yeah.
That are strong-minded people.
Yep.
That's not going to let our freedoms be taken away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, 100%, right? Like, and I think that's where it's going to always be.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to know what you're doing, what you love to do to keep yourself busy. Like, you learned how to fly a helicopter. You jump out of planes all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah, whatever I can do to inspire people that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Like, I jump out of planes. I fly a helicopter. I fly airplanes. I shoot guns. I'm a firefighter. I'm an EMT.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, I'm a dad, right? Like,
right.
You know, whatever I can do, what's next, right? Like, I'm getting ready to start. I'm going to start paramedic school next year, right?
That's awesome.
You know, whatever I can do to get around more people and show them that, look, if I can do it, you can for sure do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is perfect, because I was going to ask you who do you look to get inspired? Like, Jocko, Tim Kennedy is a perfect person to look to get inspired.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm so lucky, because like I surround myself with incredible people, right? Like, Yeah, and look, I hear some people sometimes be like, well, not all of us can surround ourselves with Tim Kennedy. No, but I don't surround myself with Tim Kennedy because he's an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
I don't surround himself because people know who he is. I surround myself with who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you take Jocko, same thing, right? But I mean, also, got Brandon Harrell, who is you never heard that name, right? He's one of my best friends, probably by far my absolute best friend. And Marcus Luttrell, Morgan Luttrell, Governor Perry, like all these guys, they make me. I can look in any circle, anywhere, any direction. I can turn around, I can flip upside down in any direction I look at any time that I'm anywhere. And guess what? I can see an example of what I want to live up to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you just got to know where to look.
You gotta hold people accountable.
Yeah.
I think this thing with the internet and being able to have, like this access to be able to have access to people, right? Like whether it's social media or even phone and texting and email, right? It's allowed relationships to stay together too long, right? Like you don't have to put much effort in to still be considered somebody's friend or to keep in touch.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think we hang on to people too long instead of weeding out the weak.
Yep. And
I agree.
That's one thing, like I said, that I learned from doing that podcast with you is I learned that I need to cut out a shitload of people from my life. And I did that, and I now am surrounded by people like John Chase that owns his own gym, and he's a successful businessman.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Shane. And
that's what it's about, man. Like, look at that. Like you look at that, right? And you take you got a dude who gets after it, right?
Yeah.
You got a guy who you can look at and mimic and want to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah. For people out there that are listening to this, you can also surround yourself around people that you're not necessarily in close proximity with.
Yeah.
Right? Like how Shane said, Jocko and stuff like that. You can listen to people's podcasts. You can listen to their books. You can read their books. And that's still an association with those people. You can have a piece of their presence with you, even though you might not be in their actual physical presence.
That reminds me of a podcast you did with Aubrey Marcus, and you said he was your best friend. Well, you told people you knew him and stuff like that, but that was the actual first time you met him. And that reminds me of that because I feel like I know you and Jocko, and I really don't, but I feel like I have a connection with you guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, the same thing back, right? Like, but just like that, right? Like I pay attention to your stuff. Like I follow you.
Yeah.
And I think that like take, for example, your Instagram, your social media. Like how many people do you follow on there that really aren't a positive influence on you?
No,
not very many.
What I mean?
Yeah.
and so like we do the same thing in our life. We follow people just because.
Yep.
And it's like, that and then what happens is then the line gets blurred with who are we following because we follow them?
Yeah.
Versus who's just has the title of being followed.
Yep.
Right.
And they're probably not following you back. Well, they might be following you back, but probably not following me back.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like what we're trying to say is that you need to be intentional about what and who you're following.
Yeah.
Who you are allowing to inspire you, influence your thoughts, your actions.
Yeah, just think of how much influence people on social media have. Like,
if it's a negative influence, it's not helping you, then disassociate.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow them.
No, you don't. You don't have to follow them at all, right? And that's what we gotta get to.
Yep. Yeah.
Dude, you're inspiring. This has been inspiring so far.
Yeah.
I think It's a good one.
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, of course. I was telling John we had Niles Monroe on the podcast, and he